Better Man here. I'm trying to do the Tanuki deck profile from the Duel series we just did. I'm not entirely happy with this build, but most of this stuff is pretty correct, and it was very consistent, even though it didn't win. So there's a few changes I might make, but I'm not sure yet. However, this build is pretty good. To start off, we have 3 Pompoko. Pompoko is the first turn if you don't have Obedience Schooled. It's always good. Well, not always. It's a really good Obedience Schooled target. It's a really good normal summon. It's generally a free plus, so you can't run less than 3. 3 Tantan. Tantan is also really good. You'll run into a very rare instance that you don't get the summon off of Tantan. Generally, if your opponent top decks Rigeki or has an out of equal proportions. But other than that, it's almost always guaranteed to go off. So that's really good, and the free summon off of it's really nice. 3 Valerie Fawn. Valerie Fawn is the tuner of the deck, and its effect to special summon a monster by discarding a card is really good. It helps make dead hands not dead. It helps you from dead drawing Kalantosa, because you can discard it and then special summon it. So all around really good. 2 Kalantosa. You only play 2 because 3 is too cloggy and 1 is not enough. It's really good, but you don't want to draw it. You always want to summon it off of Valerie Fawn or Tantan. 2 Wind Up Kitten. Wind Up Kitten is a fantastic 1 card out to a lot of problems. If you can't beat over something, or if you can't special summon, Wind Up Kitten can just get rid of cards that prevent those. Clausulas, Beals, Armor Master, things like that. It's just really good at getting rid of some of those problem cards. 1 Tree Otter. Tree Otter helps make other things a beat stick. It's not good by itself, so you only play the 1, but it's still really good. I don't think I ever saw it in these duels, but I highly recommend keeping it. It's really good with 64 tokens. It's really good with other monsters, because you can make Nat Beast up to 3200. You can have itself at 2200. So it's just a really good beat stick card. 1 The Fabled Cerebral. It's just another tuner, and if you ever discard it off of Valerie Fawn, it's a free summon. It also just summonable by Obedience Schooled, and that's why you play it over other level 2 tuners. 1 Junk Synchron. Junk Synchron's a 1 card level 5 synchro, which isn't as good as a 1 card rank 4, but it's pretty good for this deck. I might increase the number of Junk Synchrons because it's just really good, but I'm not sure yet. But as now, I really like the card. 1 Mythic Water Dragon. Mythic Water Dragon is entirely so you can make Leo, because you can normal summon Valerie Fawn and then special summon Mythic Water Dragon and you have Leo. It's rarely dead because most of your monsters are Earth, and if all else it's 2000 defense, or you can force weird plays off it, Tribute Summon, Beast King, stupid stuff like that. So it's really good at 1. 1 Beast King, also really good. 1900 if you don't want to Tribute Summon it, which is a decent beat stick for this deck of less than 1000 base attacks. Or you can Tribute Summon it off Obedience School to wipe the field. Both options are pretty great, so I really like it. 1 Thunder King. Thunder King is an all-around perfect card for this deck. It's another good 1900 beat stick. It prevents your opponent from searching, which this deck doesn't care about. And it prevents a single special summon, which this deck can have trouble dealing with if your opponent can summon a lot. So, and all in all, it's just a really good card. For spells, we have 3 Obedience Schooled. Obedience Schooled just sets up all the plays. It sets up your graveyard. It's a worst case scenario, unless it gets like warninged, Nat Beast and number 64. And best case can be way more than that. It's just really good, and I don't think I've ever seen it dead, and in every one of those games, top decking it would have been amazing. 3 Airs Rock Sunrise. Monster Reborn. This card may go down to 2, maybe not. Monster Reborn, though, so definitely worth playing. Especially because you can get Nat Beast, which is really hard to do, or it can get like a bunch of weird cards. And Monster Reborn's Monster Reborn. 3 Space. This is another choice I'm not certain on. I might go down to 2, I might not. Space is really good. There's nothing else to say. Book of Moon and Regeki. I think almost everyone plays these at this point, so that's pretty self-explanatory as well. Both cards are just really good. Traps, 2 Void Trap Hole. This card I'm not sure on again. Sorry. It was really good against Necros, and it's really good against Shadows, and can be good against Tellarknights. It might be switched for Traptrix, Trap Hole, Nightmare. They both accomplish similar things. It just kind of depends on how the meta plays out. But it's monster removal and effect negation, which is something the deck needs. 2 Mirror Force. It's more monster removal. Since most of your guys are pretty weak, you don't want to be attacked or have to deal with stuff in the battle. So Mirror Force is just really good to get rid of cards that would attack you. It's just a decent card. I might play 3 of it, take out one of the spaces or one of the Ayers rocks. I'm not sure yet. It's just really good, even though I never saw it. 2 Fiendish Chain. More effect negation, more preventing attacks. Good card. 1 Super Rush Recklessly. This card's really interesting. I like it a lot. It's tribute 1 beast monster target 1 beast monster and 1 monster your opponent controls. Destroy the first target and return the second to the deck. So basically, you can get rid of a Pompoko or a Calantosa or a Wind-Up Kitten or a number 64 token or target number 64 himself and destroy it to return an opponent's card to the deck. That's really good. If you target number 64 while you have another monster on the field, it won't die and your opponent's card will still be returned. I really like it at 1. I don't recommend increasing the number just because it's dead by itself. And while chainable, it's not always optimal, so it's pretty good at 1. 1 Ring of Destruction. This deck, I don't worry about life points too much. Generally speaking, I have life points to spare, so I think Ring of Destruction is a good fit for this deck. It's a good card to get rid of Problem. And any deck that doesn't have to worry about its own life points too much, I think, should play Ring of Destruction. 1 Bottomless, monster removal, and then 1 Solemn. Kind of like with the Ring of Destruction, since I don't have to worry about my own life points that much, it's really good. I know a lot of decks are removing it right now, but in this deck I don't think you have to worry about paying life points, so I really like Solemn. And that's it for the main deck. It should be 40 cards. The biggest things I might change are the Void Trap Hole for a different trap, and Ayers Rock and Space might both go down to 2. But other than that, I'm really happy with most of this.
How do you feel about Mistake in this deck right now?
Mistake is good. I don't know if it... So, Mistake is a fantastic card. It's, if you're going to play Mistake in the deck, you need to play a different build than I have. I'd recommend... So, if you're going to play Mistake, you'd need to take out Fabled Surable. You'd probably need to take out one of the spaces, and you might need to focus a little bit more on some of the more defensive cards, a 3rd Fiendish Chain, a 3rd Mirror Force, I would recommend side decking it. I think the deck could play it, and I think it's good enough against the meta to warrant it, but if you're going to play Mistake, you need to play a much more defensive build, and while this deck wasn't the most offensive, it's definitely not as slow or as reactive as some of the other Tanuki builds. But I think it's a really good fit for the deck as a whole, though this list just isn't geared towards having it. Extra deck, especially not the extra deck. For my extra deck, 264. This card's really good at 2 or 3. I'm only playing 2 right now because I wanted to test some other cards. It's absolutely fantastic. It can be its own soft lock if you can make 2, which off of Obedient School isn't hard. The tokens are fantastic for making level 5 synchros or just becoming beat sticks since they gain the highest attack. It's just a really good card. 1 Herald of Pure Light. I'm not as sure on this card anymore, but it does let you recycle Calantosa. It does let you recycle a couple of other dead cards, Thunder King, some of those. I think it's better in this deck because you can return a card that you can then summon off Obedient Schooled, but I'm still not entirely certain on whether or not I'd keep it. One Digesto Emerald or Phoenix. Digesto Phoenix is good in any deck that can make rank 2s, so. And then one Sky Cavalry Santerea. I like it a lot. I think it's a little bit situational because you can't summon it the turn you use Obedient Schooled. But other than that, it's really good. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's really good for a rank 2. So I'd recommend playing at least one. For Synchros, Nat Beast, because all my monsters are Earth, and it's a win condition against Necros, and can be a win condition against Shadalls. Catastor's good. Junk Warrior, I like Junk Warrior a lot. I know a lot of builds have taken him out, but he can get stupid huge in this build. So he's just a decent beat stick. And Frozen Fitzgerald. Frozen Fitzgerald can also be an utterly fantastic card. 2500 attack and 2500 defense are nothing to sneeze at, especially for one card off of Junk Synchron. It's definitely a risky card to play because you're only gonna really want to summon it if you can push with like Sandayu and it, or if you're left with like it is the only monster because it's got a semi good revival effect. I really like it. It's not for everyone. And I also play Armides because I can make level 5s. And if you don't want Catastrophe, you want Armades. For level 6s, I play Barkion because Earth monsters and negating traps is always nice. And Goyo Guardian because Goyo Guardian's worth running. 2800 attack is a lot for this deck. I play the Fabled Unicorn. I play it because it's a beast and has decent attack stat. It's interesting. I think you can get away with... I think you can actually get the lock off every once in a while, but its effects aren't as useful as just the fact that it's a beast, so you can summon it under Obedient Schooled, and then it's got 2300 attack. Rounding out the extra deck, Black Rose, because Black Rose is good, and Leo, because most decks can't handle it. No side deck this time, but that's the list. Extra deck, the only card I might change is Frozen Fitzgerald might come out, or Junk Warrior might come out, depending on what I need. It just kind of depends on how the format shapes up. I think this extra deck is pretty good to handle most things, though. Thanks again, and remember to have a nice day. Also, possibly like, comment, and or subscribe. Peace.